Hi everyone, my name is Huub Hildenbrand. Thanks for tuning into my channel, Huub Hildenbrand Guitar Academia. Today we have lesson 2 of the Harmonic Series, and we will check out all these harmonics, where to find them and what their names are on the guitar, on the fingerboard. So let's get right into the endless ocean of music. We will explore the different positions, the exact positions of the different harmonics, where we can find them on the fingerboard. And I want you to do something. I want you to get this kind of a tape and put it here on the side of the fingerboard, like this. And because we will make marks there, we will put some marks, so to be really very precise where to find those harmonics and to really measure all of them. So the idea is that you have this tape here, and you will just take this kind of a thing and we'll measure like the whole string length exactly from the nut to the bridge. So this part of the string was actually vibrating, and my string length is actually 63 centimeters. I will talk in centimeters for measurements. Maybe you think an inch, or then you have to translate that. Okay, so we take the whole string length, and now we just take a calculator and we divide this string length into 2 parts. So we divide it by 2, by 3, by 4, by 5, by 6, up until 12. And these measurements, we always start from here. So half of the string would be, in my case, 31.5 centimeters. I would just measure this from always starting from the nut, and I find exactly this spot here. It's exactly above the 12th fret. So now I know that my first overtone, my second partial, is exactly here, just by dividing the string length into 2. If I divide it into 3 parts and I measured from here, so the whole string length into 3 parts, and I go from here, I come to the third of the string, and this is exactly here. And what you do, you just write down all these marks where to find these harmonics. This is what I did. I hope you can see this in the video. So I put a small 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And you see that the distances go more and more narrow together. Get smaller and smaller. So I want you to do that, because then you really have the scale in front of you. And just by seeing them, it's really a lot of fun to because you can just play all these harmonics, and you know exactly that it's the 4th harmonic and the 5th harmonic on all the different strings. Okay, so please do that. So and remember that if we divide the string into equal parts, like for example into 5 parts, 5th of the string, we have this kind of a string length, so we can play our harmonic here, exactly here, 5, but then we can take the same distance and move it here, and we can play this same thing again, and then we can take the same distance and we play it again, and then the same distance we can play it again. So we have all these possible notes where we can actually play the same harmonic. Of course, for example, if we have a 10, for example, so a division by 10, of course we can only really play every second division by 10, because when we play a 10 here and then the next 10 here would actually be a 5. But the next, so if we take exactly the middle here, maybe, there you hear it. It's a bit. There's also another harmonic, so it's a bit harder to hear it and to play it. Sometimes it's even impossible to really play it because there's so much interfering with other harmonics which are just very nearby. So the safest and best way to play the harmonics is always to go the divisions into this direction. So division by 2, by 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. And then play really in the very near the bridge of the string, and really touch the string with the left hand, really just lightly, and do some little try a bit like different places. I mean, just very like millimeter or half a millimeter in that or that direction will sometimes really change the quality of the harmonic very much. Okay, so now what we also have to know is, of course, our harmonic series. We have to know it, which notes in which order they're coming. So there's also a PDF you should download. Actually, just go down below in the description. There you find a link to this PDF. And when we have the whole string, we also call this is our first partial. This is not a harmonic, but this is our first partial. Then we have a low E, an E string. If we divide this string into two parts, we have the octave. So we have another E, one octave higher. Then from this octave, we go up a perfect fifth. So from 2 to 3 is a perfect fifth. And in relation to the low E, it's one octave plus a perfect fifth. The next partial, the fourth partial or third harmonic, is above the fifth fret. And this is an E again. So it's the octave of the octave, or it's 2 octaves higher from the low E. So 2 octaves. So this is the first partial, the octave, and another octave. Now we come to partial 5. This is the major third. So 4 to 5 is a major third. So we also have the major third, 2 octaves higher in relation to the basic note, the first partial, the open string. If we go to the sixth, we have a fifth again. And remember, if we double the partial number, we also go 1 octave higher. So actually, like 1 to 2 is just double. I mean, we divide the string into half, but we double the frequency. You can say we double the frequency. And if we go from 2 to 4, we double the frequency again. So 2 to 4. And if we go from 4 later on to 8, we double the frequency again. So just times 2, partial times 2 means 1 octave higher. So 3 was here, and that's the fifth So sixth is the octave of the fifth. Then we have the seventh, and seven is really easy to remember because 7 is also the minor seventh actually in relation to the basic note. So we go up from the fifth to the minor 7. So 6, 7. Then we go to 8. We already had it. It's the octave. So we go from the minor 7 to the octave. And then on the ninth, we actually also go to the ninth or to the second of the scale, so to speak. And this would be an F sharp in this case. So we have an E, B, E, G sharp, B, D, E, and F sharp. Then we come to a 10, and here it becomes really hard to play these notes. Actually, with some sounds, like if you have a lot of distortion and if you use like more thin strings, you can get even higher, quite clear. But with this kind of a guitar and with more thicker strings, it's very hard actually. And I do not use these harmonics here. And later on we will discuss how we can use actually like a harmonic 1, 2, or partial 2 to 8. These we will really use. Okay, if we go higher, after the 10 comes the 11, and the 11 is actually the sharp 4 in relation to the root. So it's an A sharp or B flat. So we have this note, maybe you hear it, and if we go up, we have also a 12, 11, 12, 11, 12, and this 12 is double of the fifth, of the 6 and the 3. 3 is a fifth of the basic note, so a B. 6 is also a B, octave higher, and 12 is another octave higher. It's a double of the partial number. So actually we have a kind of a scale here when we go higher. And remember the notes actually go more and more closer together. So the distance between 4 and 5 is bigger than between 5 and 6. And then 6 and 7 is even smaller, 7, 8 is more small. So it gets more and more small. Yeah. And but the frequency, as I told you in the first lesson, the frequency is just always adding the same number. So if we go from the first partial to the half of the string, we just double the frequency. So it was like 83 hertz. So we have 166 hertz. And then for the third partial, we add another 83 hertz. For the fourth, another 83 hertz. So the distance between two adjacent partials is always the same frequency, the same amount of moving back and forth. So it's always 83 more hertz. So it's easy actually to calculate, because if the basis is 83 hertz, we can just calculate our ninth partial by multiply this number by 9, and then we know the exact frequency of this 9th partial. All right, so I wanted to what I just started actually to tell you is that we have a kind of a scale here. We have like a minor 7th going to the octave, to the 1, going to the 9th, major 9th, going to the major 3rd, going to the sharp 4, going to the 5th. Yeah, and if maybe you do not really hear this so clear on this video, so try it at home with your guitar, then maybe it's more clear to have it on a live instrument. So this kind of this scale. Okay, you got it? So in this area here, we really have like steps. We go from a kind of a bigger whole step from 7 to 8, a major second, a bigger major second. We go to a minor second between 11 and 12. So it gets smaller and smaller. If we go higher, we have like really like a complete, very small intervals, and smaller and smaller, and later on maybe just 1 cent difference. And remember, cent is our calculation where we can really calculate these microtones. I mean the tones which are not in our 12-tone system. And it's a very simple calculation, a very simple system, because every half step, so every half step, we say is like 100 cent. So from one note to the next half step, up or down, we have 100 cent. So we can really calculate very precisely, name very precisely the notes in between. And this is already kind of good to know that also these harmonics, these partials, are really, with the exception of the octaves, so with the exception of 2, 4, 8, like none of these tones is exactly fitting in our 12-tone system. That's something you should know, actually, because later on when we play these notes, these harmonics, instead of regular fretted notes, and for example you play this in a chord or with another instrumentalist or singer or whatever, you will maybe find out sometimes, oh, these notes are not really matching exactly. And so you should know that the second partial is perfectly okay. The third partial, the fifth, you can also say it's the same note, but it's actually like 2 cent. So just 2 cent of 100 cent, you can say, 2 cent higher. So it's a very tiny bit higher. So you also, if you use, for example, this tuning method, you go with harmonics, you have to keep in mind that this is not really the best approach to tune your guitar. I mean, if you did it a long while already, you get familiar with this and you know what to do and how to deal with it. But actually, it's like tuning a bit wrong, you can say, with these harmonics. Okay, so this third partial is 2 cents higher. Then we have the fourth partial. This is perfectly okay. The fifth partial, that's the major third, and the major third is actually, it's like 14 cents lower than our 12-tone temperament. So if I tune it like this, I mean, both E strings are in tune now, and I play this note. Yeah, you see, it's a bit lower than if I fret the note. So if I tune the string a bit lower, then yeah, it comes closer. Now it fits, but now the E's are not fitting anymore. So the fifth is, let me see on this page whether I'm right, yes, 14 cents lower. Then we have the sixth. The sixth is just the octave of the 3, so it's also just 2 cents higher. And now we come to the 7, and the 7 is really quite low. It's a quite low minor 7. It's like 31 cents. Just 31 cents. It's lower. So that's quite a lot. It's a third of a half step. Then we go to 8. We have an octave. That's also the octave of the octave of the octave. That's perfect. And then we have the 9th. The 9th is actually 4 cents higher. So we have an F sharp. An F sharp here, which is 4 cents higher. So it's this F sharp. Then we have the 10th. The 10th is again 14 cents lower. The 10th is a major third. It's an octave of the 5th. So it's like, so we have to lower this by pushing the string a bit, direction to the bridge. Actually, you can check out this tonal system of Turkish music, because there I really made some videos, but it's more, of course, it's more advanced stuff. But there you have different ways how to actually be able to play these microtones on the guitar, because for this kind of music, for Turkish classical music, you really have to be able to play these notes. Okay, if we go higher to the 11, we have a sharp 4 here, and this sharp 4, let me see, yeah, this sharp 4 is actually like a quarter step lower than in our system. So this, yeah, it's hard to play this note. It's really, it's a quarter step lower. So it's in between of F and F sharp, maybe a bit more in the direction of an F sharp. And then we have the 12 again. The 12 is just the octave of the 5th. So of the 6th, and 6 is the octave of the 3. So this is all perfect 5th, and these are all just 2 cents higher. So when we use now these different notes, and we think of the harmonics as possibilities to play fretted notes instead, we just have to keep in mind, okay, 3 and 6 are very tiny bit higher, but we can ignore this completely, because sometimes we play on, the intonation of the guitar isn't perfect anyway, so maybe your string is already like 2 cents too high. So we ignore this. The thing we really have to keep in mind is the the partial 5, the major third, which is lower 14 cent. So we can't really how do you say, play this note instead of a fretted note. I mean, we can, but we have to be aware that we're producing a tone which is actually a bit lower. And the same, of course, goes for the sevenths, because the sevenths is 31 cent lower. So this is actually not really something you wanna play when, for example, playing together with a piano and you play this D here together. Then I mean I'll show you. Yeah, that's quite out. So I also can push the string. Yeah, then I have it. But like this, it's not in tune. Okay. So please download the PDF now for this lesson, and there you find a table with all with all the different notes on the guitar, and all the notes you can play as harmonics. So what you basically see is you have like the horizontal line is a staff with all the chromatic notes going from the lowest to the highest note in the second line, and my highest note is a B. And vertically you see all these possibilities on all of these 6 strings where you can play the note, and as a fretted note or as a harmonic. So on every string we can play the octave of the string as a harmonic. We can play the 5th of the octave as a harmonic. We can play the octave of the octave, the 4th partial. We can play the 5th partial, that's a third, major third, a bit lower. We can play the 6th, which is a 5th again of the string. We have the 7th of the string, which is quite low. And we have the 8th of the string, which is the octave of the octave of the octave. So the same note again. So we have E, B, E, G sharp, B, D, E. So what we actually basically have is we have a dominant 7th chord. So the first partials are a major triad, and then we add minor 7th to it. So the first partials, E, B, G sharp, E, they are really a major triad. And this is, as I told you in the first lesson about harmonics, this is really sounding already in the string itself. So if you play a string around the globe somewhere on a distant island, then you hear also this major triad. So this is so present, and especially the lower partials, they are the loudest. They are really have an influence. So the music you create on this island must also be related to that, because you can't ignore it. Okay, so we have a major triad, and then we add a minor 6th here. Minor 7th, sorry. We add a minor 7th here, and then the octave comes again. If you go further, but this is maybe also more for an advanced lesson, we have actually like a scale which is called Mixolydian sharp 11 or Lydian flat 7. these two names of a scale which is like a major scale but has a the fourths raised and the sevenths lowered. But let's talk about that later lesson. Okay, so let's check out briefly this table of notes, and I just wanna give you a start with it, that you know what to do. So, for example, you find this E here as a notation. In the first line of the strings with a high E string is a 0. So a 0 means open string, so no frets. And you can play this E here. But you also see below the 5 on the B string. So the 5th fret on the B string is the same note. And the 9th fret of the G string. The 14th fret of the D string. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And the 19th fret of the A string. So this is all the same note. So you have always these diagonal basic lines if you think about fretted notes. But then you also see that you can play this E as harmonics. So you see on the A string you have also a small 3. The red numbers are the harmonics. So you have also a 3, and the 3 is this note. So you see, oh, okay, I can play also this E as a harmonic. Just tune this. Of course, if you have the 3 here, you can also play the 3 here. So you can say you have two possibilities here, and you can also play this note on. You see the 4 written on the E string, so you can play it as a 4th partial, and this you find here, and also you find here. So you can say you have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 possibilities to play. Yes, 9, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 possibilities to play this E on the guitar. 5 possibilities to play it as a fretted note, and 4 possibilities to play it as a harmonic. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you have 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so just 9. 9 possibilities. Okay, of course. 9 possibilities to play the E on the guitar. So what you should do is to really check out all these notes on the guitar and really find out all these other ways to play the notes. And this also teaches you a lot about the fretboard, actually, to really know where are all the notes. It's not that you will learn all the notes just by doing this exercise once, but you start more and more to learn that. So it's a great it's a great exercise. The next the next idea about harmonics is try to find excerpts of scales which you can play just with harmonics. So, for example, I have a excerpt of a kind of a D major or whatever E minor scale. So I can start with a D here, 3rd partial on the G string, to 12th partial, 2nd partial on the high E string, 3rd partial of the B string, so it's an F sharp, so D, E, F sharp, G I can play on the fourth partial on the G string, and then I go to the sixth partial of the D string. I have a A again, A, and then I can play, which is a bit wrong, but it's okay. In this context, I can play a B on the fifth partial of the G string, and from B I can't really play a C. I mean, I have a C here, which is too low, and it's also, but maybe I can try. Why not? So I have a C, I have a D, I have an E, kind of. E, F sharp. Yes, F sharp. And then I have a G sharp. So I can't have a G sharp when I play a G major or E minor scale. So this whole thing sounds like this. So in this, with this scale, you can try to play some melodies, some small exercises, like. For example, and it's quite cool if you have a melody, and good keys are like G major, E minor, D major, or maybe A major, E major a bit. When you have a melody in these keys, you can try to find out whether maybe you have all of the notes as a harmonic. So you can also play this melody. You can practice and learn this as with harmonics. You have a very cool thing here. So fifth partial on the G string, so I have a B here. Then I have the sixth partial on the D string, which is a no, that's not a B. Sorry, yeah, it is a B. Oh, it goes backwards. Sorry. So I have a B. I have an A here, sixth partial on the D string. Then I have a G here, fourth partial on the G string. Then I have a F sharp, fifth partial of the D string. I have a E, sixth partial of the A string. And then I have a E, and then I have a D, fourth partial of the D string. Fifth partial of the A string, I have a C sharp. Then I have a B, sixth partial of the E string, low E string, and I have a fourth partial of the A string, that's a D. So it's a D major scale. So that's quite easy to play because all these notes are very near. So I always have this kind of a same fingering for them. So these things you will find out yourself if you go more deep into it. And of course this scale here, what we have with the tape and the numbers, this really helps a lot because you know exactly where to find the notes, and you know also with this table what the names are and in which octave they are. So that's a really cool thing to check out. You have also chords, like you have a D major chord, a G major chord, or a E major 7. So you can play all these interesting, or a D major 7 chord, or a B minor, E minor, of course, like it's always the B minor with the nines. So you have a lot of possibilities. Also, you have the E minor pentatonic. Maybe that's a thing you definitely should know. E minor pentatonic played like this. You should check this out. So we have a B, third partial on the low E string, second partial on the D string, third partial on the A string, second partial of the G string, third partial of the D string, second partial of the B string, third partial of the D string. It always goes back and forth, second and third partial, and then we have the second partial of the high E string, and we also can start on the second partial of the A string. So we have, and that's just the E minor or G major pentatonic. You can also go. So this kind of thing you can find out, and so make this a habit. Maybe in the next few weeks, make this a habit to think about every note you play, or maybe not every, but once in a while, think of the notes you want to play, like in a melody or whatever, and think about alternate fingerings, and are there any harmonics available for that note. These harmonics are really a complete separate universe, you can say, which is on top of the strings. So you have the strings and you have the frets, and then you have another layer, and these are all these harmonics, and they are really, these are like natural laws, and they have their own logic, of course, and they are also it's a bit messy because they don't fall together with the frets mostly, and they are everywhere, you know, all the whole string. And on this one page, you also downloaded in the PDF in the first harmonic lesson. There you also find these waveforms. I mean, you find how the different partials are finding their notes on the string. So you have this three-part division into three. You see, so you have this note, and you have it again there. I'm pretty sure that you know, but please download the file, otherwise you maybe think, what is he talking about? Okay, anyway, I hope you liked this lesson, and please subscribe to my channel if you liked it. If not, please leave comments, or if you have any questions or you didn't really understand what I'm talking about, or so leave your comments so I can maybe adjust to it, or I can upload another lesson where it's getting maybe more clear, or I can send you another explanation by email. I don't know. Just find out. You have all my contacts on my website, guitar-academia.com. There you also find a button where you can donate to support this channel. So thanks for watching. My name is Huub Hildenbrand.